So welcome to part 2 of my Q&A. If you missed part 1, I'll probably put a link in the description. And if you're watching this for like a specific show, because I'll probably put it in the title what shows I'm talking about in this part, and your question may not come up. I think I got all of them. If I've missed any, I do apologise. But I did get a lot of questions, which is amazing, so thank you. But yeah, if you've missed your question in this video, but you asked me like about more than one show in the same question, I would have covered it in part 1. Because these are very like show specific questions. So yeah, there was like questions about comparing Clark and Buffy and stuff. That was in part 1. So yeah, for part 2, we've got another few shows to talk about. I think it's 5 shows, but I've split it into 4 sections. Because the first one I'm going to talk about is The Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead, kind of all in one category. And we've got a few questions for that, so let's get right into it. I still am using scraps of paper with the questions written on in a disregarded tissue box, just in case you were wanting to see how professional I am. Honest opinions of Tyrese and Gabriel. I really liked Tyrese. I think he was too good for the world, unfortunately, because that was kind of his downfall in the end. But I really loved his relationship with Sasha. I think it was a really nice brother and sister bond. I really liked that he kept his moral compass through everything, and he happily died with it. I think he was a really interesting character. I would have liked to see him a lot more, but I really liked Tyrese an awful lot. And as for Gabriel, I hated him when he was first in the show. I thought he was, like, as the seasons went on, like season 5 and 6 maybe, I thought he was a right snake. But then he kind of started to... I think it was definitely season 6 when I started to really warm to him a lot. When was he introduced? Was it season 4 or 5? I can't even remember. A little while ago now. I think he was definitely in season 5, but I can't remember exactly what season. I think it was 5. But anyway, yeah, I've really grown to really like him a lot. And you know, if nothing else, I respect him because him and Rosita, he got Rosita, like, damn, Gabriel. Yeah, I think he's had a very interesting kind of development. I love how much his relationship with Rick grew over the last few seasons, how they came to really trust each other completely. I loved that, given how hostile they were towards each other in like season 5. So yeah, I really like his development, how he's kind of taken one of the more important kind of authority places, I think, in this new world. So yeah, I like his character journey a lot. Out of the 2 of them, I prefer Tyrese. But yeah, Gabriel was pretty cool now, especially when he has got that badass now, because he's like got one eye gone because of his illness. Love it. I imagine he doesn't, but it looks pretty badass. Predictions even for 9B. The Whisperers are going to freak me out. I know that much. Jesus will come back from the dead in 3 days. There'll be a lot of badass moments with Michonne and Daryl probably. Carol too. I think Rick will come back and it was all just a fake out that he left. Please. Maggie will come back and it will all be okay. Please. No, those last 2 aren't happening, are they? I really don't know. Because even then, if I'd like known what's happening in the comics, I think the show still changes things up, so... I don't know. Obviously, we're going to see a lot of the Whisperers. They're going to be like the main threat this season. That's about as far as I can really predict, because I never know what's happening in The Walking Dead. You know, even like Rick's last episode, I thought I knew what was happening and where they were going with it, and then that last scene happens, and I was like, okay, I have no idea. This show constantly surprises me. So yeah, don't have a lot of predictions, but I'm very excited to find out what's going to happen. What do you think happened or want to happen to Rick? Well, we're going to find out in the movies, whenever they come out. But yeah, I'm sure they managed to heal his wounds. And as to what will happen to him, I don't know. He's going to need a very good reason to kind of stay where he is, isn't he? It'd be interesting. I'm really not sure where they're taking his story. Because I was so convinced they were going to kill him off. Because I thought that would just be the end of the story. And I was like, oh, he'll never willingly leave Judith behind. No way in hell. He'd absolutely go back if he knew he had a son with Michonne. So yeah, it's going to take something quite major, I think, to keep him away from trying to find his loved ones again. So yeah, we're going to have to wait and see, but I'm really not sure. It should be very interesting. If you're part of a group, would you want to be a leader, tracker, or something else? Definitely not a leader. Way too much pressure. I think I'd like to be one of those people who go out and find new people and try to recruit them, kind of like Aaron was in season 5. Was that even season 4? I can't remember now. I think it was season 5. But yeah, I think I'd like to be one of those people, because I'd like to think I could talk people into like joining the community. I love to feel like I'm contributing by like building this community up. So yeah, definitely that. Top 5 The Walking Dead characters alive and still on the show. So obviously this is like, Maggie's one of my favourite alive characters, but she's not on the show anymore, or at least not currently. Damn. I mean, Carol, obviously. Ezekiel I love. Michonne, probably, for sure. I'm desperately trying to think of the characters. I mean, I really liked Jesus, but he's gone. Maybe even Enid, you know? I really like Enid. I'd really have to think about this, really, but... maybe Daryl, actually. And I'll throw Enid in there as well, because I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, those are my picks for now, off the top of my head. So I was kind of going off Daryl quite a bit in the last couple of seasons. I thought they weren't doing anything with his character, but I think he's a lot better in season 8. I mean, when you give the guy a dog, I'm going to love him. Top 5 Walking Dead characters you miss or wish were still alive. I miss Maggie, but I'm not sure that's what the question really wants. I think it's dead characters. I mean, Carl, Glenn and Carl are my number 1 and 2. Definitely Glenn number 1. God, I miss him. Abraham. Who else? Sasha. I really miss Sasha, actually. And Beth. Yeah. But if it was like, they don't have to be dead, they can be just off the show, and I miss them. Rick and Maggie. We have to go in there as well. And then, are you continuing Fear the Walking Dead? I am. This is another reason I'm glad I filmed this after the last week or so when I intended to do it, because some of my Fear reactions got unblocked. So yeah, they are officially back on the schedule now, which is awesome. I think that's all of the Walking Dead kind of themed ones, so good. Next we'll do Once Upon a Time. Get those in there. Have you managed to remain unspoiled so far? Yes, I have no fucking idea what's happening. All I'd known, I think, since about halfway through season 1 was that Captain Hook was going to show up. That's it. And he's here now, so yeah. I have no idea what's going to happen, and it's going to wreck me, probably. Favourite characters so far? Obviously Henry, Emma, Snow and Charming, Rumpel, Regina. Regina's growing on me a lot lately. I mean, I don't like forgive a lot of her actions, but she's a very good character, so that's why she's kind of my favourite. Yeah, I think I'll probably go with those lot. Basically, like, the Snow family, the Charming family, and then Regina as well. What do you hope to see character development-wise for Emma? I'd love to see her just become, like, really maternal. Oh, shit, just dropped that. You know, the kind of, now she's been given this chance to be a mother again after she, you know, gave up her baby. Be really interesting to see her try and cope with that. see if she is, if she can look after Henry. I don't know. So I don't want to just say, oh, cliche, let's just give her a romance. I'm sure she'll find someone else. So I was like, oh, her and Graham are going to get together, and then Graham died, so maybe she'll reunite with Neil when he comes back into things. But yeah, I just love to see her get more and more familiar with like this whole fairy tale concept, and then just be like completely sold on it and like own it. And I love her to like feel at home finally, and actually find a home in her family and in a certain place. I think that'd be a really nice journey for her. It's what she deserves. She deserves the world. What are your favourite aspects about Emma, Hook, Snow, Charming and Henry? Well, in general, everyone outside of Hook. Just the whole family bond, the way they trust and love each other. I love that about all of them. I love Henry's kind of excitement about the world and his belief, and his like constant yearning for things to get better. Emma's strength and resilience, and I love that about Snow as well. Snow and Charming's love for each other, the loyalty between them all. I love Snow's maternal side, and the way she's seems to be very easy to be friends with. And Hook, love his sass and his dry wit, because that's me. If you hadn't noticed in my videos. So yeah, those would be my favourite aspects of them. Favourite season 1 episodes? Going back a long way now. I really should think about these questions before I do it, but I always want it to be like, just off the cuff. I really do like the pilot. I think the pilot's still a really, really great episode. I liked Tallahassee a lot this season. I liked Into the Deep this season. That was great. Skin Deep in season 1 was really good. The finale of season 1 was really good. Yeah. I think that would be it. I don't want to name too many, because I could just name them all, but yeah. Are there any characters you hope to see on the show? I've been asked this before by some of my friends, but I can't remember what I told them. I always really liked Peter Pan. It was like the fairy tale or story, whatever. Because we're getting Hook and stuff. I'd like to see like more Peter Pan characters show up. That'd be really cool. And then we have like this whole like multiverse thing, like Dr. Frankenstein being in it. So there's so many kind of fictitious worlds that they could incorporate into it. So there's just so many, it's kind of overwhelming, but I'm not really sure. Shrek. I'd love to see Shrek and Donkey show up in the Gingerbread Man. Yes, what's next? Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Let's do that. I only have like, I think, one proper question for AOS, and then I got sent something by my friend Matthew, which I'll go through. So I'll try and do it fairly quickly. But what are you hoping to see regarding Daisy and Fitz's relationship? I just need them to work it out and work through things. Obviously, Fitz, currently when they find him in season 6, he's not going to know what he did to Daisy in season 5, because he hasn't done it. Or this version of Fitz hasn't done it. But I think to Daisy it's still very much going to be this man who kind of did that to me. And there's one of the most wholesome friendships in the show right from the off. And I do actually kind of hate what they've done to that friendship, because I think it's basically irreversible and irreparable at this point, which sucks. But I'd like to see them at least find some common ground and slowly kind of build their way back up to being really good friends, because it was a really special friendship, and I'm sad that the writers kind of destroyed it. When I don't think they actually needed to, but yeah. And then I got sent something on Instagram by my friend Matthew. It's like an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. like 30-day challenge. He answered like one question every day, but I'm just gonna like quick fire through all 30 things. So just like quick statements. So number 1, favourite season. Either 3 or 4, I think, for me, but I'd lean more towards 4 because it was really well structured and Ghost Rider was badass. 2, favourite male character, Fitz. 3, favourite female character, Simmons. 4, Bus or Zephyr. The Bus, I love the Bus. 5, favourite canon ship, shockingly Fitzsimmons. 6, favourite non-canon ship. I don't tend to ship couples that aren't, I think, don't have any chance of happening. I don't know if they will happen. They're technically non-canon, so I'm going to say it. Daisy and Deke. I'm not sure if that's particularly popular amongst fans, but I actually really like the idea of them being together. I think they'd be really good for each other. But I'm not sure if it will work out long term. But yeah, it's my thing. There we go. 7, favourite friendship. There's so many ones I'd say, but season 5 kind of destroyed every friendship. So even like Daisy and Simmons kind of argued a lot near the end of season 5, and I hate it. I'd say like pre-season 5, Daisy and Fitz. Yeah. 8, favourite parent/kid duo. I would say like Colson and Daisy probably. Because they definitely have like a father and daughter friendship or relationship. And then basically like whenever Mama May is being Mama May to anyone, love it. 9, favourite bus kid, Fitz. 10, favourite bass, probably the Bus, to be honest, in season 1. But I do quite like the lighthouse as well from last season. 11, favourite Sky or Daisy look. For me, season 3 is my favourite look of hers. I don't think it will ever be topped. 12, favourite villain. I think, oh man. I mean, probably it would have to be Ward, wouldn't it? Because he was so good. And as much as I hate Ada with every ounce of my being, she was a very good villain as well. But yeah, I think Ward is kind of the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. villain, really. Favourite guest star, number 13. I don't know, there's been so many great ones. I really loved Amy Acker as the cellist in season 1. I think it was episode 19, like The Only Light in the Darkness or something, I think it was called. But I also really liked Blair Underwood when he was in it as Andrew. I don't know. So many. There have been so many great guest stars. Even when Jamie Alexander came back as Lady Sif, a couple of episodes. Yeah, but there's been a lot of really good ones. 14, biggest plot twist or surprise. For me, probably the Devil Complex, revealing that Fitz was kind of the Doctor again. 15, saddest death. Fitz in season 5 finale. But if it's like a permanent death, because we all know that Fitz is going to be back in season 6, as like a permanent written out of the show death, probably Lincoln. 16, best fight scene. Oh, there's so many good ones. I can't remember exactly when it was. There's a scene, I think it was early season 5, with Daisy and some Kree in like an elevator or something. I thought it was really cool. And Daisy versus, what was her name? I feel like it began with S. The girl with those like rotating ball things in season 5, that Kree girl, Cassius' like second in command. That was a really great fight scene as well. 17, underrated character. This is difficult. Because I know a lot of people are like, oh, Piper and Davis are really underrated. But I feel like we haven't seen enough of them for me to warrant caring about them too much, which sounds awful. So I'm hoping we see a lot more of them in season 6. I don't know, really. Underrated. Maybe Elena? I don't know. But even then, she has loads of love as well. Is there like an underrated ship on this list. I don't think there is. No. I might cheat on that and just say underrated character, as in Mac and Elena's relationship, because I feel like that's quite underrated. 18, funniest character, either Fitz or Deke. 19, funniest line, maybe Science Biatch. That was pretty iconic. Or Deke's line when he was like high on the drugs last season about kissing Daisy. Or any line about the lemons. Iconic. 20, favourite episode. I don't know. Obviously the 100th episode, Real Deal, is incredible and means a lot to me. Devil Complex is fantastic. 415 was a great episode. The episode with Gemma on the planet. I think that's 3,522 hours or something like that. That episode was great, apart from the whole space boyfriend thing. And what's it called? The Singularity, obviously, for obvious reasons. 21, best storyline. The slow burn of Fitzsimmons, probably. But if not, then the framework stuff, I think, is my favourite and least favourite at the same time storyline. 22, best season premiere. I really like season 4 premiere, The Ghost. I mean, the season 5 premiere is really good as well, but Fitz isn't in it, so I don't think it could warrant being number 1. Laws of Nature as well, season 3 episode 1 is really good. 23, best season finale. It was great seeing Ada burn, wasn't it? I really like SOS Part 1 and 2, season 2 finale. Or even the season 3 finale, just because it's like the only season it ends happily for Fitzsimmons. Literally. So yeah, one of those two probably. 24, favourite quote. Okay, so for this one I'm going to say Science Biatch, and then the funniest line 19 will be any of like the lemon stuff with Deke or the kissing Daisy stuff. 25, favourite blooper. This is an interesting one. There's one where like Chloe's like on the floor or something, and Clark puts on like a clown mask or something to like scare her, which is really funny. Her reaction to that, 'cause she kind of expected something to happen, but she still got scared. That was really funny. But I'm definitely missing something that I really like, and I can't remember off the top of my head. 26, favourite cast member. I feel like it's mean to just pick one person. From sheer talent, Ian Takaistecker. From a social media standpoint, probably Liz Henstridge, because she's absolutely adorable online. And Chloe Bennett's really funny online as well. Or like Chloe Bennett and Jeff Ward doing like when they mime Hamilton songs is always funny. 27, favourite cast friendship. Definitely Ian and Liz. I think they're hilarious together. If not, then Chloe and Jeff. 28, favourite gadget. I miss the dwarves. I think it's time to bring the dwarves back, to be honest. But I think the classic Night gun is also great. 29, best inhuman power. That's a really good one. I probably would have to say like Daisy's powers. It'd be good to fly and stuff, and she can kind of fly when she like launches herself off the ground and stuff. So I'd probably go for that, because if someone's like pissing you off, you can just go bye and just fly away. Then 30, saddest moment. Every Fitzsimmons scene since like episode 6 of season 1. I mean, Fitz's death is up there. Lincoln's death is up there. When in the 100th episode where Coulson tells everyone that he's dying, and Daisy breaks down and is like, there's nothing without you. That's really fucking sad. yeah, Gemma's reaction when she finds out Fitz is dead. Just that unspoken scene with her and Mac. Yeah, I think I'll go with something like that. So yeah, that is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But yeah, thanks to Matthew for tagging me in that. A very interesting collection. Right then, last but not least, let's tackle this monster, shall we? Look at all those. Let's try and somewhat mix it up a bit in here. Let's try and do this quite quickly because I don't want these videos to be too long and there's a lot of questions to get through. Okay, Buffy. Here we go, Buffy. Who do you think is the more entertaining villain to watch, Spike or Angelus? I think overall Angelus is a more interesting kind of villain and poses more of a threat, but more entertaining villain to watch, I have to say Spike, because of his charisma. Which character would you like to know more about their past? I mean, Willow and Oz probably. So especially Oz, I'd like to see a lot, like Oz's childhood and stuff, what that was like. But also Xander, I'd like to see more about Xander's family. And maybe more of an insight into when Giles was young, like actually like see some flashbacks of that. It'd be really cool. Which character would you like to see more often? Jenny? I'd like Faith to be like a regular, that'd be cool. I'd like to see more of Spike as always. But more often, I'm trying to think of like secondary characters. Probably Joyce actually. I feel like Joyce should get a lot more screen time than she does. I really, really like Joyce. Top 5 Willow scenes. I've been given like prompts for each individual scene. So top 5 comic Willow scene. Maybe in season 1 when they like do the play at the end of one of the episodes. I think it's the puppet show, and she like blanks on her line and just runs off. That's really funny. Also the scene with her and Cordelia, I think it's in School Hard when they're locked in like the closet and don't realise the crisis has been like solved and everyone's gone home and they're still just in there. Sad, probably her reaction to Miss Calendar dying. That was awful. Romantic, any scene with Oz. Probably her first kiss with Oz, because that broke me. That was incredible. Epic scene. Whenever Willow gets angry, probably. Or when she activated the spell, maybe, in the finale of Season 2. If not, then it's a scene, I think it's early in Season 2, where she, like, snaps at Giles and Angel about something. It's always funny when she does that. And then scary. I don't really know. Like, scary because she's being scary, because I don't think that's possible. But, well, I mean, Vampire Willow was kind of creepy. But I don't know if I have like a scary scene for Willow. I'm not entirely sure. No, I'd have to think on that one, I think. But yeah, maybe when Spike's threatening her in Lover's Walk, because I'm always quite scared for her when Spike's around. It's kind of scary how far he might have gone, because he was like talking about like abusing her and stuff. I was like, no thank you. So I was scared for her. Who is your favourite villain so far, main or otherwise? Almost certainly Angelus, just because that story is so interesting and complex. If you had to pick out one of our main characters that did not make it to the final season, who would you pick and why? Sorry, but it'd have to be Xander. Just because out of the main cast, he's currently my least favourite, and that's just how it is. Yeah. Top 5 episodes so far. How dare you ask me this? I'd really have to think on it. Passion was really good. Probably Becoming Part 2. The Wish was great. Helpless was great. How many is that? I think that's like 4 or something. And Prophecy Girl was really good as well. School Hard. Oh, Halloween. Okay, that's definitely more than 5. But yeah, 5 of those. Any 5 will do. Do you have any reservations over the show without Angel once he gets his own spin-off? So obviously I don't think it's really much of a spoiler to think that Angel can't be an Angel and Buffy at the same time. I think he could pop up in Buffy still, but I don't think he'd be like a regular. But I don't really, because it's not like Angel's been in every single episode anyway. And even when he has shown up in some episodes, it's been for like 1 or 2 scenes. I feel like the show is a lot stronger than just the character of Angel. So yeah, I don't really have any reservations. I imagine it would be weird not having him around like as a constant presence. But I think it'll be fine. Giles and Joyce, or Spike and Joyce? Very weird question. I used to really like the idea of Giles and Joyce, but then obviously Jenny came along. And we had Band Candy anyway, which kind of realised the ship I didn't really want anymore. Which season 3 is a terrible track record of doing to me. Then Spike and Joyce, I like the dynamic between them. If you meant do I prefer it romantically to Giles and Joyce, then no way. Oh, apologies. I'm still a bit sick, but I feel a lot better, which is why I'm recording these. Still got a bit of a sore throat. Any theories on who or what brought Angel back and why? Honestly, none. I can't wait to find out. I couldn't tell you. Maybe it was the first evil, but no idea. Maybe we'll probably find out. Well, no. Will we find out in Buffy because it's like a Buffy-based storyline that he came back? Or would we find out in Angel because the show's about him? I don't know. As long as we find out, I'm happy, but I'm excited to find out. Which character evolution have you liked the most and why? Almost certainly Cordelia. So I've come from absolutely detesting her and wanting her to die from the pilot to loving her, and I would die for her. Yeah. How much we've learned about her and peeled away the layers and seen how complex she really is and how many different sides to her there are. Yeah, I love that journey. At what point did you realise you'd started to like Cordelia? I feel like it was around when they started pairing her with Xander in the What's My Line 2-parter. Because that was when we saw some layers peeled away, I think, and she became a lot less two-dimensional. So I think around that point, I was starting to find myself growing quite attached to her. What kind of storylines would you like to see for Buffy, Willow and Xander? A plot for them to grow or learn more about them, etc. Obviously, I love to learn more about Xander. As long as the three of them kind of all stick together through thick and thin, I'm kind of happy with whatever they throw at them, as long as they get through it. But yeah, I'd love to learn more about Xander's home life, and Willow's as well. Maybe meet Willow's father. Maybe flashbacks to a young Willow and Xander would be interesting. But yeah, I just want to see them continue to be badasses and be there for each other through thick and thin. How do you think Willow's magic abilities will affect her and her friends in the future? No idea. I can imagine there being like an episode where one of her spells goes like drastically wrong and they have to fix it. So it might cause a bit of trouble along the way, but I'm hoping it's going to be more of a help than a hindrance. So yeah. So many questions for Buffy. I love it. Once season 3 ends, will we lose an episode of Buffy a week in exchange for an Angel episode? Yes, unfortunately you will. So things will slow down with Buffy once I start Angel. But yeah, that's just how it has to be. Otherwise I would tear my hair out from stress. Is there an expectation you had for a character that hadn't come true that you're sad about? I expected Xander and Willow to keep their hands to themselves and not touch each other. That's what I'm sad about, but we're moving past it slowly. But I really wanted Xander and Cordelia to kind of stay together, but I'm not sure if they're going to now, which sucks. But as for expectation of a character, I mean, I expected Jenny to not die. That's a big thing. I thought we'd have like a really nice relationship between her and Giles, and she'd become like integrated as part of the gang properly again. So I'm sad that never got to happen, but it's also an amazing story. There's theories on characters in the Wishverse compared to the pilot, and why weren't certain characters there, etc. I really don't know. The only one I can really think of is that I think Darla probably should have been around at that point, because she was in the pilot of Buffy but not the Wish. But she could have just been killed by someone else, or killed by the Master or something, because she let him down, I don't know. But yeah, I feel like it's more just that maybe they overlooked some things or just couldn't get some actors and actresses back. So yeah, I'm not really sure. I'd really have to think in detail about just who wasn't there. I'd have to rewatch the pilot for a start. Yeah. How do you feel about the show moving on from high school and more into the real world or college? How do you think it will change the dynamic of the group? I'm kind of excited about it because I imagine they will graduate at the end of this season because they've done like a school year every season, which a lot of shows do when they're set at like school and stuff. It makes a lot of sense. So yeah, but exciting to find that out. I mean, if some of them go to college, it would kind of be like the same sort of thing anyway, because it's still like a, you know, educational kind of institution, so it might not be too different. It might be weird actually, because would Zhao still be around a lot? So I'm almost certain he'll be the Watcher again eventually. But, you know, he works at that school in the library. So he might not be around as much, which would kind of suck. So that might change the dynamics there. And I don't know if every single character is going to go to college or not, so that would definitely shift things about who can possibly have scenes with who, and how often. But yeah, I'd be kind of excited to see what they do with like changing the setting up a bit, because I mean, Buffy's already such a different show than it was in season 1, and it's still set in like high school and stuff, so I'd be looking forward to seeing them changing things up again. What do you think is going to be the ultimate reason for Angel to leave the show when his spin-off starts? I don't know. I think him and Buffy will kind of end things. Maybe. So I doubt they'll carry on like a relationship if they're in two different shows. That'd be kind of weird. I mean, they're not. I don't think they're officially together now, anyway. But you know. But yeah, I think it's just going to be about him like repenting for his sins, and he thinks he has a purpose. That's why he's been brought back, and just to keep doing good. And maybe he needs a fresh start. I don't know. Maybe, you know, since Buffy's kind of taking care of Sunnydale, he can go and save somewhere else. I'm not sure. Why did you start the show? I needed some shows to react to over summer while all the other shows I had were finished. And a couple of my friends, particularly Jess or Seska Says, recommended Buffy. And I'd always kind of been meaning to watch it anyway, see what all the fuss was about, and I'm very, very glad I did. If you were an actor on the show, what episode would have been the most fun for you to do? Probably either Halloween or The Wish, because I think it's always interesting when you can play like a different kind of version of your character that you've been so used to playing. A nice kind of change, I think, to like change it up a bit. So definitely one of those kind of wackier kind of episodes. Which single performance in the scene so far has impressed you the most? There's so many. Sarah Michelle Gellar in any kind of crying scene, I think she excels. Like Prophecy Girl when she says she doesn't want to die. Obviously Anthony Stewart Head, when Giles finds Jenny's body, is just a mesmerising performance. And him and Sarah Michelle Gellar for the rest of that episode as well. David Boreanaz, in the Christmas episode I just watched, where he's kind of getting tortured and stuff. I thought he was really good in that episode. Yeah, I think I'll go with that. A couple from there. Out of all the main characters, who do you relate to most? Who are you most like, and who would you want to be? I mean, I'd want to be Buffy, because that'd be badass. Who do I relate to the most? Who are you most like? I feel like I have similar answers to both of those. I feel like I relate to Oz on a spiritual level. I'm a lot like Oz, and I think I've got a bit of like, hopefully not the jerkishness and arseholeness of Xander, but I feel like there's like a nice sense of humour, the self-deprecating humour, and the humour as a defence mechanism from Xander. If you put that into Oz, I think that'd be me. I feel like I'm like a livelier Oz and a more talkative Oz. So yeah, I think I go for that. If you had to pick one Buffy episode to show someone who'd never watched the show before, which one and why? It says I can be nice and give you up to 3 if you struggle. I think that's really difficult. I mean, obviously kind of the pilot, because it starts the show. Prophecy Girl, because I think that hints at what the show can do. Halloween hints at what the show can do. Passion, just because of like the gut-wrenching twists and stuff. But that'd be a huge spoiler to just introduce the show. And if you watched it from the beginning after you watch Passion, you're like, well, I know this woman's going to die. So yeah, I feel like if they weren't going to like watch all of the episodes or start from like season 2 onwards and stuff, I feel like I would show them Prophecy Girl. I feel like that's got quite a good balance of different things about Buffy. We've had quite a bit of information on the origins of Buffy and Angel, but not as much has been said about the rest. Which character would you like to see more backstory on? If I had to pick just one right now, Xander. I want to see what his home life's like. I want to see what his growing up is kind of like. Just so I can feel a bit more sympathy for him, so I can start really liking him. How do you think the wish will affect episodes to come, if it will? I don't know. I feel like it's going to, because someone asked me this question. I don't know. Maybe they'll find out about the events of the episode, because I kind of wish at least someone had remembered it. So maybe that. I don't know. Maybe in some weird, clever way it will come back to haunt them, but I'm not sure. As you already know things will happen between Spike and Buffy, what predictions do you have for how the relationship will develop? I could not tell you. I imagine Spike does not win Drusilla back, which leaves him single and ready to mingle. But yeah, I don't know when things start getting romantic with those two. Because right now they absolutely detest each other, so I don't know. I cannot fathom any scenario in which, from where they are now, they could have a romantic relationship. Honestly, no idea. Right, 3 left I think, including this one. If you lived in Sunnydale, how do you think you would die? I love that this question just assumes I'm fucked. Probably quite correctly. Yeah, I think I got asked this on a live stream as well. It wouldn't even be a vampire or a monster or anything. I would just like trip, fall onto a gravestone, hit my head and die. Something stupid like that. I'd fall into an open grave. Yeah, I feel like it wouldn't even be a supernatural death. I'd just do something stupid. Or I'd like accidentally tell a pun to a vampire and then they eat me. I don't know. Why do you think you've gravitated more towards Willows than... How do you pronounce it? Is it Bangle? Bangle? Bangel? I really don't know how to say it out loud. But yeah, Willow and Oz than Buffy and Angel. It's a very good question. I think because right from the off, Willow and Oz felt more real. Whereas I feel like season 1, Angel and Buffy, was kind of cheesy. And a bit kind of overdramatic. And the show kind of reined that in with like future romances, with the exception of Xander and Cordelia kissing to that music in the background. But yeah, I feel like both the relationships are really great now, as they are. But I think with Willow and Oz, I think the show had learned from its mistakes in how it presented Buffy and Angel as a couple in season 1, so I felt it was just a bit too overly cheesy. And then finally, favourite Monster of the Week episode so far? I, Robot You, Jane. It's a classic. I love it. And if not that, probably Killed by Death or I Only Have Eyes for You. I think it would be out of those 3. So yeah, those are all the questions. A lot to get through, but yeah, we tackled it. So yeah, if I have missed any questions, I do apologise. And if you have any new questions, or want ones I didn't answered, comment them in this video or part 1, and I'll get to them there. Because I think, you know, we need a break from Q&As, don't want to do them all the time. So I'll probably leave it for at least a few months before we do another one, unless there's a huge demand. And there'll be live streams, which are basically Q&As anyway. Yeah, I think that's everything. If you sent any questions in, I know quite a few of you sent quite a few questions in. So yeah, thank you very much. And yeah, until whatever reaction comes next, I imagine. Thanks for watching.